Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Hot Pot. We're at cycle 536, and yes, another huge gap. Oh, I accidentally just spoiled things for myself. I didn't know this was a thing. Or maybe this is just brand new. Apparently I can see all of the traits on my map, so that's okay. I usually try to keep those hidden from myself, and I never noticed this before, but if this was here the whole time, then I feel like an idiot, but I swear this is new, but yeah, this says metal pore, subsurface ocean like we suspected, large boulders like we also suspected, and magma channels, which I had really not seen many magma channels, so that's kind of interesting, but the metal pore I think I'm really feeling, and that would really explain why I'm having a hard time, but anyway, yeah, super off track, and the first thing I'm going to do is hopefully go back to another video that I had recorded and see if this existed in a previous video, because I'll feel really dumb if I've never noticed this before. Anyway, we're still only at 8 dupes. Oxygen setup is still the same. Food setup is still roughly the same. It's changing a little bit. But yeah, everything is remaining pretty stable. Oxygen overlay is actually looking a little bit better. I did have this oxygen diffuser running just a little bit, but not a lot. So I guess I don't really understand what's different. Or maybe I was leaking oxygen or something? Like, I don't know. But it's looking pretty good right now. So, yeah, speaking of oxygen, our electrolyzer setup is going to be coming up here. It's not quite done yet, and I've been talking about that in the last video a little bit. The water setup, however, is ready, and I'm just using any of the runoff from my bathrooms. As you can see, I grabbed all the water that used to be in this little chamber right here, this polluted water, and that's what's sitting in here right now. So I just have a tank to hold excess water, I have a tank to kill germs before I make oxygen out of it, and then a tank of clean water down here with no germs. So yeah, we've got everything pretty much ready for the electrolyzer setup, which again is just going to be happening right here. And that should be up in the next video, so we'll take a look at that. As far as one of the bigger things I've been talking about for a little while, here's this, my hydrogen setup, and this is almost the same as, well, almost identical. It's the same concept as what I did for the hydrogen setup in my walkthrough video, but yeah, this is, I'll just provide a very quick overview, and I may talk about this build in more detail later, but the whole idea is that very hot hydrogen comes out of this vent. I can't really start pumping it out immediately because it's too hot for any of the pumps I could make right now, so I do cool it using some water, and later this will turn into steam, but it cools it down at least to somewhere under 300 degrees before I start pumping it out. When it is under 300 degrees, I open this door. As you just saw, that was perfect timing, totally not intentional, and then this pump pumps it out into this room right here, which then can pump into all of my generators. So they're all on their own batteries, so I can control how aggressively I want to use my resources, which I may raise here actually. Maybe not. Yeah, and then a couple of steam turbines up here to cool the water that gets too hot. Pretty straightforward. That's the whole idea behind this hydrogen setup. And this thing is so much power that it literally can almost run my entire base by itself. At least it was during my walkthrough. Not sure about this one because I am spending a lot more energy on cooling. So, yeah. Anyway, super powerful vent. If you see one on your map, make time to get it. There's no reason to ever skip it. So, we've got that set up. We've got our hot room pretty much done. As you can see, I did add on the extra chambers down here. And I do have piping going all the way through here to cool the whole thing. This is also sitting at the bottom of my base, and it is connected to the rest of it. So this used to be walled off, like right here. And now I just have a little bit of ventilation along with some insulated tiles here just to try to maintain the heat the best I can. But the temperature of this hot room is looking really good. The temperature of my base in general is looking really good, especially everything over here that is being actively cooled, including the hot room. And you can see that, oh, didn't mean to do that, to turn that off. You can see that just with these aqua tuners here and just with these steam turbines, like, you get so much cooling off of those things. And we have a lot of cooling power right now, so I'm really not worried about heat for the rest of the game, pretty much. Fire's emptying. What are my dupes doing? But yeah, so things, I don't know, I'm looking pretty stable, I think. One thing that I kind of wanted to talk about, though, is this food setup, especially using dirt for this long in the game. I believe what's happened, and this is kind of hard to visualize, but any dirt that I had, it's kind of starting to have to come in from other parts of my base. Can see some sitting around here. But for the most part, my dupes have had to travel quite a bit sometimes to get dirt to continue using. So I've had a little bit of struggles with that and sand as far as like keeping them inside the base. And because I have so much cooling, I have started opening these things back up so that my dupes can go grab dirt or sand from these areas. Even though they are too hot, I have enough cooling in my base right now that I can handle it just fine. But I do want to get off this dirt eventually, and that's what this stuff is for. So I added a couple more Draco chambers. This is really just to increase my egg production and get onto barbecue exclusively if I can. Fleeing. Ah, no, I hate those things. I don't know where they're fleeing from. But yeah, just to get on barbecue exclusively so that all I really need to maintain are these mealwood plantations inside the Draco chambers. But eventually I want to get off that too. And it's going to take me a little while to do that because the way that you need to do that is you need to get on these balm lilies. I actually do have 24 of them, so that's probably enough. But I just need to make the setup for it, which will probably go right here. If you're on balm lilies for these guys, then you're probably going to get a lot more of the regular Dracos and not the plastic ones. So kind of figuring out when I want to transition off of these for the time being. You can see it is producing a lot of plastic. But at least for right now, I want to house as much as I can so I can get everybody on as much barbecue as I possibly can. And that will also mean getting really good morale scores from that, as that's pretty much about as high as I go. Once you cross that barbecue threshold, there's not many more efficient ways to produce food, especially if you have it just coming from balm lilies, which effectively is just free food and doesn't require dirt or maintenance or anything like that. But yeah, here's some more. Nice. I'm going to tell this thing to come over here, and then as soon as it's here, I'm going to leave. Smart dupes. Yeah, so plastic is coming in pretty good, but I think I'm just wasting a lot of time on these dirt or farm tiles for this mealwood and sending dirt there all the time. That's going to become a concern around this stage of the game as well. So that's the plan. I feel like I'm talking in circles a little bit, so let me totally change the subject. One other thing that you might notice if you go back and you watch a bunch of the other videos from this series is that my base shape especially has changed quite a bit. And the reason why that's going to happen is because I'm so compacted in the early game that I'm constantly having to move stuff around all over the place. So like, for example, my coal generators used to be like right here on an awkward platform, and then they got moved down a little bit to right here on an awkward platform, and they got moved down here. So like, it's going to happen a lot. And if you're ever trying to finish a run in a timely manner, like, this is okay, I think, for this map, but it's not spectacular. And a lot of the reason why is because of all the like constant maintenance and facelifts that I have to give all the time. I showed this last time, but my piping is also getting more sophisticated. And just anytime you have to rebuild this stuff is basically just a waste of time. So if you can ever do it right the first time, then that's great. That'll save you a lot of time in the long run. But on this map, I kind of just feel like you don't have a lot of a choice with how cramped you are in the early game. So yeah, at least that's my take. Again, this is the first time I've ever played this map, so I don't really have a lot of, I guess, super intelligent or experienced viewpoints on this map, but that's just kind of what it feels like to me. Yeah, I'm trying to see what else we have going on here, and I kind of think that's it. I'm looking at my notes here that I always keep to make sure I'm talking about relevant things between videos. But on this one, I think we're good. I think we're just going to talk about the next things that are going to be coming up here. So, again, like we alluded to, the electrolyzer setup is going to be on the way. I'm going to add a couple more exits to the outside of my base, so one of them is going to be right here. The second one's probably going to be right here, I would think so. And then I'm going to have a Draco chamber that extends out right here, so that this one serves kind of more of the bottom left area, while this one serves a little bit more of the bottom right. So I have shorter travel distances whenever I need to leave my base. So that's the plan with those new exits. Again, better Draco chamber is what I have written down in my notes, but it basically just means a Draco chamber that's relying exclusively on balm lilies, just because I don't have to run dirt there all the time, and I can have my dupes focusing more on ranching rather than farming. And then if I get enough time between videos, and I do want to shorten these up, by the way, if I get enough time, I'll start on my transit tubes and maybe start entering space, but I doubt it. I'll probably have a video before that happens. But yeah, that's all I have for right now. Next part should already be uploaded, so if you want to keep watching, go ahead and click on that next video. And if you guys have any comments or thoughts about this series or whatever you want to talk about, drop it down in the comments section and I will have a look. and it gives me a good idea of what kind of content you guys want to see for this game, or if you want to see more tutorials, or if you want to see more silly runs or mods or anything like that, then let me know there. But yeah, in the meantime, I'll see you guys in the next video here really soon.